Got my coffee, I can start the day. It's our final day here at the house. I'm just waiting for Sam to get back with Edna the dog. So I think I'm gonna go and have a relaxing shower to start the day, come down, have some breakfast, and get started. So educating users, why should we do this? Well, it sounds like an obvious thing, like everybody would want to do, educating their users, but it's not actually something that we talk about all that often, but it's something that's really important. So let's firstly cover off why we do it. The first reason is just to reinforce why your service is actually important to the user. So if you don't actually educate them in what you're doing and why it's important, what's their motive for actually remaining a user or signing up in the first place? Giving them tips and tricks will help your users get more from it. So if you're educating them about how they actually get to use your product better, then it's not going to be such an uphill struggle for them, and they're going to enjoy it a lot more. And the crux behind that is that you're just going to make them more successful at what they're trying to do, and they're going to love you for that. So that's a big thing. And finally, because people just enjoy learning things, and if you're the person that can teach them this information, then great. It's the same thing with businesses as it is with people. Just being helpful and making people more successful will make you more likable, will build up that relationship and that rapport that you have with your user. That's the other reason why we educate people. Wow. So we've been working all morning, and we're just going to pop down to the supermarket now, get some food for dinner, take the doggy with us, get some fresh air, just have a little break basically. Come on, Edna. We're going in the car. Where are we going? So we decided we're going to make a aubergine curry tonight. Sam's vegan, so we've got potatoes, aubergine, cauliflower, loads of herbs and spices. What else is going in that? What else is going in the mix?
White wine.
White wine. Well, most of that's going to go in my belly, not into the dish. And other stuff. Anyway, it's going to be delicious. But now we're going to go and have lunch. So we're going to a very posh establishment called Subway for a foot-long sub, and then back to work. So just had my lunch and I'm stuffed. Very full. Big Subway, steak and cheese. It's delicious. So we established earlier that educating your users is important, and it's useful, it's helpful, and it helps you retain them. And obviously we want to retain our users, and we want them to tell other people about your service, about your product, and refer those guys. So now let's talk about how we actually educate them in the first place. So what you guys want to be aiming to do is create as many touch points as possible with your users, and basically increase the level of communication and the quality of communication that you have with your users and even with your leads. So how do you do that? Well, an obvious method is email. But not just any emails, not just emails sent 5 days after, 1 week after, a month after they've signed up. You want to be a bit more clever with the way you do it, and you want to base your emails off events and off actions that your users take when they're using your service. So we use a program called Intercom, And Intercom allows you to set up events inside of the app, and as soon as a user does a certain thing, it will trigger an email that's relevant to their user journey, where they're at currently in using your product, and it will send them a useful email about how they can get more out of the service. So you just want to really make sure that you handhold them through this process. You might not want to always be sending an email to your users, because let's face it, we get a lot of emails these days and it can get a little bit tiresome. As a service that they've signed up for, you're entitled to send them emails, and you should send them key emails. But if it's just a sort of little prompt or a helpful message, maybe consider doing that as an in-app message. So like an in-app message is something where you actually visit the product or the web app itself, and it pings a little bubble in the bottom corner of the screen. You've probably seen them before, and it'll say like, hey, is there anything I can help you with? Or hey, did you realize that X, Y, and Z? So I'd reserve emails for like the bigger things. And maybe if you're trying to reactivate somebody who hasn't been on the app for a while, it would be a good idea to send them an email, because if they've not been on the app for a while and you set up an in-app message to reactivate them, well, it's pointless, because they won't be on the app in order to receive the in-app message. so you need to think about like if you're using the right channel. So what other channels are there? Well, there's email, there's in-app messages, there's social media. Now that gives you a whole plethora of different platforms that you can use. Main ones are obviously LinkedIn, Facebook pages, groups, Twitter, Instagram. There's loads of them, and you should be using all of them really. So the other channel that you can use to educate your users is for a blog and content marketing. It allows you to reach out to these people in a helpful, non-invasive, non-salesy way, and provide them with reliable, consistent, relevant content that will help them succeed, educate them, and just keep them coming back to your site, to your blog, more often. And it will hopefully get shared by them with their followers, and their followers are interested in the same things that they're interested in, and everyone's a winner. So content marketing is a massive one for educating your users, and it should definitely be something that you're leveraging to its full potential. What else have I got on here? Customer support. Now, customer support isn't just tech queries. Customer support is all sorts. You want to be creating a knowledge base on your site. People don't always want to be getting into a live chat conversation with a person. They might just want to be able to go and read an article for themselves and try and help themselves figure out how to do something, or maybe understand why they need to do something. There might be a lead signing up for your site and wondering, well, what do I actually get from this that I don't get from another product? They might be using a competing product. So you need to have all this information on your site, on your blog, and also on a sort of support knowledge base. And there's a lot of companies out there doing this. You can do this with Intercom, the company that I mentioned earlier, but you can also do this with companies like Help Scout. So have a look around, build up a knowledge base, and all you need to do is ask yourself, what are the most commonly asked questions? What are the things that our users really need to know to help them succeed and to allow them to get the most out of our product? And put those questions in, and then put those answers in, and link to them wherever necessary. Now, Intercom's really cool because if, for example, our team are asleep and someone from the US comes on at a time when no one's online and they type in a question, Intercom will recognize the keywords from their question, and then it will suggest one of these articles that I mentioned from our knowledge base and send them a link to that article. So that's a really, really useful facility. But yes, support is a huge thing. It's the most obvious way to educate your users. But obviously, like, if some people really don't want to have to read around, some people actually do want to just jump on a live chat, speak to a human, and just get an answer straight away. So you do need to consider also the option of having a live chat facility there, just in case. But the idea is that you're providing them with all the different means to empower themselves to use your product, to find the answers they want to find as quickly as possible in the way that they want to. I think that just about covers like the main ways that you can help educate your users, all the channels. So we've got emails, we've got in-app messaging, we've got a blog and content marketing, we've got support channels, live chats, knowledge bases. I may have missed something out. A main one to remember is probably one that's very overlooked, because even I overlooked it when thinking about what to talk to you about, is the website itself. So what's the first thing that a user sees when they're thinking about signing up to your site? or when they're visiting your site again to log in. It's the website, right? So make sure that your website has all of the most crucial information on that front page right in their face. So every time they go there, or when they land there for the first time, they're immediately hit with the value that you guys offer them. You want to reduce their time to value. So hopefully that's helped you understand why educating a user is so critical. So I'm gonna go in now, finish off some work and edit this vlog, and then I'm probably gonna kick back, put the PJs on, watch a Silicon Valley, have a glass of wine and cook dinner. It's our last night in the Airbnb, so tomorrow I'll be driving back up to Bristol, back in the home office for more fun and frolics. So I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.